The Major I qualifiers have officially ended, and now the players are getting ready to hop on their flights to Madrid to battle it out on land. It's been a really long time since the CDL has done an event outside of the US, so I know these teams are hyped to have a change of scenery, and with the way this season's been going, the matches on land are going to be insane. In today's video, I'm going to break down the final 2 days of the Major I qualifiers, because this weekend determine which teams will be in losers and winners bracket. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first game of the day on day 2 was Minnesota Rokkr versus Vancouver Surge. We got right into a Skyline hardpoint. Now Estriel has completely turned around his game from December to January. I mean, this month he has been frying and leads Minnesota Rokkr in his respawn KD. On the opposite side, my boy O4 has been frying lately, and this was one of his best series since Black Ops 6 started. They were battling it out on the Skyline, and it was going back and forth all the way until the final few hills. Nasty was going crazy this game with 42 kills, but to combat that, Nero dropped 44 of his own, and these two teams were in the blender in the last few moments. It was just trade after trade, and Surge had no business winning this game, but they still clutched it up at the end.
Flood into it. Someone's got to pick up the big two. Gio's there for it. Gio for the hero play, but
one last time, cleanse yourself of this dirty hard point. In we go. Abuza, stay down, Mr. President. Hixie, he's got to win it. Guns in there. A break is on. Surge, go forward. Paul is there, but in you go. What a
Pushing
win.
through these final few hills. Now Hixie was really struggling this map, going 21 and 39, but O4 and Nasty picked up the slack. Minnesota was pretty even across the board, but Surge take the first game, and in the vault search and destroy, O4 began the game right where he left off, getting a 3 streak in the first round and making some really solid plays to take the lead early. Now Rokkr and Surge are both pretty good in search and destroy, and they were able to trade rounds. I mean, on vault it's just like Russian A every single round. They were trading rounds, and then eventually Surge went up 5-4 with their backs against the wall. Rokkr clutched in offense to hold off Surge going into a round 11, and then Surge got offense in the final round, but Rokkr managed to break their setup. Estriel sticking the defuse to win the game.
You could arguably hop this. Stun check, he's on it. That's it. That's the defuse going through. Anyone there to jump on this? Nasty, find the angle. Nasty, go! Hixie! Can they stop it? They can't! Oh my god, Rokkr!
He had 13 kills this game with 9 non-traded and 4 bomb plants, so he was doing a little bit of everything, and then they battled it out on protocol control. And on this map, defense is overpowered, and they were trading defenses. O4 having another pop-off game. Nero was putting in damage of his own in the second round, going on this 6
Oh,
spree.
and Surge have been pushed once again to the brink of protocol. 11 lives here on the attack for them remain as Rokkr are having their way.
But then O4 answered back in round 3. Estriel was trying to make some good plays in the final round, but Surge shut them down and were able to take the third map, going up 2-1 in the series. Rokkr needed this dub in the vault hardpoint, and the pace of this game was insane. Estriel got into takeover mode, and once they took the lead, they didn't give it up for the rest of the map. Hixie continued to struggle in these respawns. He did in the first map, and he continued to do so in the second map, but he wasn't struggling as hard as Paulex, because Paulex finished this one 24 and 40. I really liked how Estriel and Gio were playing off of each other right here, and Gio had 33 non-traded kills to take the 4th map and push a game 5.
But the hard point is still in play.
Rokkr want this now because they made those pinch plays and they're going to block those spawns and flip out for new. So you got the kills, but 7 seconds to go. Surge have to contest just for 2 seconds, and they might not be able to get it. Final player from the top gets in, gets the kills, and forces the new time. Surge are here first.
A single second. Gio once again trying to make another hit.
Oh my god.
Which is only fitting for these two teams. And going into this one, Vancouver is 1-4 on red card S&D, and Rokkr is 0-1. So not a good map for either team, but they still battled it out. And just as expected, this one came down to the wire, going all the way to round 11. O4 made a patient play to get the blood, then Rokkr traded, and then it came down to a 1v1 with Paulex versus Abuza.
And the glass break gives Paul just a little bit more to think about. Bomb recovered. Are we going to go out? We're going out swinging. The timing. Did he get spotted out? I don't think he did. It's a square up, and it's done. It is Abuza, and it is
Abuza came out on top and securing the win for Vancouver Surge. They've had so many game 5s, and Hixie in his post-game interview said his blood pressure was high from all these round 11s, and it seems like every time they play it's always a good series. And to make things even better, O4 dropped the series kill record with 138 kills. Surge going 4-3 playing online COD from Vancouver is tippable, and I feel like we haven't even seen Abuza at his best. He's been mid in my opinion. Online doesn't help. Alex, we'll see See you fudging later. I never want to see him again. All right, that's harsh. What did I just watch? This season is insane. GG's Rokkr won 3-2. In the second series of the day, we had an LAG Mates versus Vegas Falcons, two of the worst teams in the game on paper. LAG Mates actually had a chance to make winners bracket even with a 2-5 record, but they needed a bunch of things to go in their favor. They needed Rokkr to lose to Vancouver, which happened. Then they needed to 3-0 Vegas, and then they needed Miami to lose to Carolina 0-3. Vegas haven't won a single hardpoint this season, and they made another roster change, which is not helping them. They had Wixel in, but they just made a change and put King in, who I've never heard of before, but he's actually pretty good. Going into the Skyline hardpoint, LAG Mates started off the game really shaky, but then started to settle in as it went on. We even got into the listening where Lynn started taking over this game. On the side of Vegas Falcons, XNet was not helping them out. He ended up going double negative this game, and towards the last set of rotations, LAG Mates started winning these rotations, and Lynn's was frying, going 37-30 with 4k damage. Sky soaking up the hill time, and King having himself a 30 bomb in his CDL debut. But now they fall to 0-12 in hardpoint, and their best chance to win was probably in this Skyline Search and Destroy, where they actually have a pretty good attacking win percentage, being ranked second in the league. The game was relatively close, and in round 7, Kismet got into a 1v1 with the rookie King, and King came out on top.
If he looks to just get this down today, he gets eyes towards the back, hits the shot. King comes up big, the newcomer.
LAG Mates eventually took off with the lead, and Roxas did not help Falcons out in this game at all. He ended up going 0-9, and what's even crazier is that he only had 200 damage, which means that he like barely shot anyone this whole game. Skives was right there with him though. He went 1-8, and I'm sure they were really happy that this game was over. LAG Mates taking the dub, and going into the vault control. This has been Kismet's best game mode all season. He has a 1.19 in it, being ranked first in the league, and he showed us why he's so good at it.
Pinch there through mid as well. You've got the numbers here, I think, defensively to stop this round. Nice shots from Kids.
Oh yeah, he's just repositioning so well. He's sitting on the time, pausing the clock. And while he's having himself a series, he continues to go.
Yeah, no, it's 99 Kids right now. He is just destroying.
LAG took the 1-0 lead, and then the map reset. Falcons ended up taking one round whenever they came back, but then LAG took over in the rest of this respawn. King struggling this game, going 17-29. And Rox is having a difficult series as well. But we see 99 Kids back in action, and I'm sure this was a morale boost. This is a game that they should win 10 times out of 10. And Falcons have really struggled this season, not only to win a series, but also to win these respawns. They haven't won a hard point yet, and like most of these games aren't even really that competitive. These roster changes are not helping them out at all. Just not enough to keep up with the rest of these pro teams. That was tough to watch. The only good thing for Falcons was that Doom looked better on the Ames, and King looked solid. Roxas was terrible, and overall I have defended him, but they gotta get Glow Frosty in. The Falcons can't even take a map off of LAG. It's over. They need kicks back. To be fair, I don't think LAG is that bad. They've lost a lot of series that they should have won. And in the final match of day 2, we had Carolina versus Miami Heretics. And in order for LAG Mates to make winners bracket, Miami would have to lose every single map in this series. And going into this hardpoint, they're pretty even in their hardpoint record this season. Carolina started the season really solid, but their fall off needs to be studied. They've really struggled in the month of January in hardpoint, and Miami just needed one map to clinch a spot in winners bracket. As the map got underway, Slasher was really struggling. He had a really good start to the season, but if he ain't playing well, and if Gwyn isn't playing well, it makes things 10 times harder for them. Miami pulled away with the lead early, and Rencor and Lucky were pushing the pace for Miami. Rencor going 30-26 this game, Metal soaking the hill time, and TJ Halley was doing everything he could for Carolina. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get the job done, and Miami kept the lead for the rest of the game, winning 250-186. We go on to the red card search and destroy, where Carolina is really good on defense. And when I say really good, I mean they're first in the league in defensive win percentage, and Miami is on the complete opposite side of that, being the worst team. Hey, but Lucky set the tone early, getting this 1v2.
Are you able to get eyes on the bomb here? 15 seconds to go. They've got no idea where he is. Viva's got to jump on this at some point. I mean, we're running out of time. Teach, send it. What tags? Big work. Are you able to get the kill as well? Lucky lives up to the name.
And then Miami won the next 3 rounds, but you can't ever count Carolina out, and they slowly started to bring it back. But there's not much you can do, especially when Real is doing things like this to call game.
Already nearly finished. There it is, done. Eating all sorts of goodies. Real managing to find one. Gwyn is gone. Slasher now. Trying to find that entry. Heretics, you have devoured them. Real What an unbelievable second.
Miami won 5 attacking rounds in this game. Real getting double digits in this win, going 12-6 with 3 first bloods. Going into the Hacienda control, TJ Halley having another solid respawn. Carolina won the first round, and then Miami won back-to-back rounds. And Miami almost won round 4, despite being down like 10 plus lives. But Carolina clutched up in these final moments.
Time.
It's fine. TJ, we've watched them go in and out, up, down, all around.
This is bad, no, this is horrible.
That's 3. You're back in spawn. Gwyn, you get a pounce. Catch out Renkor. Yeah, gets it. But bad news, 11-6. Less than a minute to rock here. Metals is managing to stay alive. Gwyn pin him down. Last lives. Big old slide. Slasher gone. Real has spotted them out. No, he hasn't. Oh, what am I looking at? He's just got away with it. 7.4 through the front. It's not over yet. Finds a big one. It's all down to Real, and they know where he is. Surely not.
And ended up winning rounds 4 and 5 to get the dub. Vivid having 21 non-traded kills. The 4th map was Hacienda Hardpoint, and Carolina got off to a really hot start. Vivid taking over early. He hasn't been a crazy standout player, but in this series, he put in a lot of work to keep them afloat, and we even got a chance to listen into their comms.
Center, when you watch center, bro. Ivor center. Center front. I'm here. Watch out, close front. Nice, one more. Watch out, absolute, in the right corner. Okay, we'll get this time and go mid together. I'm going to mid.
TJ Halley got off to a really slow start, and so did Lucky. He had like only 8 kills going into these final few hills. And on the second set of rotations, Miami had a good little stretch there where they made a little comeback, but Carolina had the lead the whole game and didn't give it up. Gwyn had a bounce back game here going 28-20, and Lucky left the game after going 14-24, but he had a chance to redeem himself in map 5, the Vault Search and Destroy. Now in map 5, Carolina is 3-1 and Miami is 1-4, so Carolina had the advantage going into this one, but it was a really close game nonetheless. Renkor won the first 1v1.
Oh, it tags into everyone. Sending Slasher to finish the job. Who gets 1? And Renkor waiting for the re-heal timing. No.
And then in the following round, he got this insane 1v2 with the last second defuse.
Players in too many corners, there's simply no way. It's a 2v1. It's now a 1v1. Renkor's got the time. Renkor! Oh, Gwyn got away with his life. 10. Can he get the defuse? Oh! It's too close to call. Renkor, a hero? Yes.
Oh! I really don't even know how he got this one off. But despite being up early, Carolina started to bring it back round by round before tying the game at 3-3. And then they took the lead on the defensive round. Going into the final round, Slasher got a big 2-piece, leading the charge with 12 kills. And then TJ Halley closed the game with a 2-piece of his own.
And TJ has an egg.
Whoa, for how long? Nice bit of damage. Immediate dip. I like this. They're stacked up on the outside of pool, and TJ's now making his way down, and he's going to find 1. Not enough damage on the next player, but the pinch is on.
To complete the reverse sweep. TJ was doing a little bit of everything, getting 5 bomb plants this game. Metals being the lead OBJ for Miami as well. And this was a really competitive series, but Carolina was able to clutch up in this map 5. And TJ had an amazing series, dropping a 1.35 with 109 kills. TJ masterclass. People have been asking for Vivid to step up today, and he did. Props to him. Miami bottled. If Renkor finishes that kill in the control, this is a whole different discussion. Despite losing, Miami secured their winners bracket spot for the Major I tournament. Carolina will also start off in winners bracket, and they had a really good Major I qualifiers despite falling off a bit at the end. And Black Ops 6 has been crazy so far. Just in this day alone, there was 4 series kill records set. 04 had 138 kills. Estriel had 129. Geo 121. Nero 120. Nasty 115, but these are the standings to end day 2. But trust me, there's a lot more where that's coming from because the matches on day 3 were extremely close on paper. We even got to look at the impact some of these players have been having on their team. Pretty incredible stats from Simp, Shotzi, Hydra, and Kleenex, who have all been putting on for their teams, and they continue that momentum going into the final day of Major I qualifiers. And in the first match of the day, we had a LAT versus Boston Breach. Boston got 3-0'd by FaZe on the first day, so they were looking to bounce back against LAT, but they had a pretty rough schedule this weekend. And going into the Vault Hardpoint, LAT has been 1-5 in Hardpoint this month. Boston going 3-2. And Purge has been really impressive this season, showing a lot more confidence than he did last year. But LAT got off to a really good start, taking the lead early on. But then the map reset, of course. And on the reset, Purge slowed down a lot, and LAT continued continued to dominate in the vault hardpoint. But the good thing for Boston was that Snoopy was doing a bit of everything for them. He had an absolute masterclass series, and going into the final set of rotations, he completely took over. By the end of the game, he had 41 kills with 33 non-traded, and on top of that, he almost had 3 minutes in hill. That's some incredible stats right there. Hydra was trying to keep the team alive, but when Snoopy is frying like that, it is so hard to stop him. And Boston win 250 to 206. And going into the red card search and destroy, Boston has really struggled in S&D this month, going 0-4. I mean, you need to win S&Ds in order to win series. Scrap has been frying in S&D this month with a 1.55, being ranked first among everyone in KD. And to start the game, it was really close, but there was a turning point in round 7 when Awakening did this to Hydra.
Timing could be everything on the round. Hydra not able to spot the first, but the timing good enough at least to take down Awakening. Big wake turns on a 3v3.
That was disgusting. Snoopy continued right where he left off for map 1 and got an S&D kill record here with 15. Kismet had set one, dropping 14 on the Falcons, but Snoopy made sure that didn't last long, and he dropped 15 in this map, ultimately carrying his team to a 6-3 finish. Boston up 2-0, and LAT had their backs against the wall going into this Hacienda control, but they were not going to go down easy, and they came out in this map with a vengeance. Ghosty having a 5 spree in the first round.
Not landing, and it's a 5-life lead, over 2 minutes to play here for the Thieves. More
and then
shots.
it was complete domination from Hydra and LAT. Hydra going on a 6 spree of his
They're
own.
double negative right now, including Snoopy, who had the hot hand, so things are just not going well right now for the Breach. Hydra definitely on his BS right now. 12-7, 3 in a row, just pushes the issue backside fences. Envoy with him, but Boston
Now you just got to read the angle on the pinch. Teammates now playing cleanup. So the 2 players left to account for, but Purge at least finds that double to maintain a little bit of that.
And this
map.
was a really easy map for LAT. Boston just couldn't get anything going. Going into the protocol hardpoint, Ghosty continued to take over, and Boston slowed down so much from the first 2 games. I mean, they kept it close throughout most of it, but coming into these final few hills, LAT shut them down and pulled away with the lead.
Scrap. He's able to kind of slip away, catch information on the low ground. Ghosty follows, plus he wins his one up top, and that might be game right there. Boston have to try to break from the front. Hydra drops, but over 240 goes the Thieves. Ghosty watching from the sidewalk. Now the focus purely has to be on the front. The contestants in, but Ghosty off 5 in a row. Make it 6. No more contestants from the front as Envoy finds the final kill. And we're going.
Ghosty going 35-17, but Envoy soaking up a bunch of hill time. Cold War Cammy was having himself a difficult series, and in this map he went 17-30. LAT trying to force the reverse sweep in the map 5, but if they had any momentum, it was shut down because there was another reset. I mean, this series lasted like over 2 hours, which is just really hard to just sit through and watch. And I'm sure for the players too, if you're turnt from the previous map, then you have to wait like 30 to 45 minutes for the last map to start. It just probably completely kills your momentum. Boston pulled away with the lead. Scrap was playing pretty well, but Cammy was not. He was 0-5 going into this final round. It's pretty crazy because 49% of the matches this season have gone to a map 5, and it just shows how competitive some of these games have been, and this game was no exception. Boston was able to take another S&D off of LA Thieves, and it was a pretty underwhelming performance from LAT, to be honest. They took over in maps 3 and 4, but they need to clean up their S&D going into this major. Breaking Point came out with a pretty funny tweet. Thieves versus Breach was 2 hours and 20 minutes long. We could have watched Star Wars in that time. Snoopy just earned himself 3 more years on Boston. Is Ghosty the best sub on LAT? Ghosty is the best player on LAT. 0.57 for the win. Yeah, Cammy had a difficult series. Regardless, Boston was able to get the job done and take out LAT, moving their record to 5-2 for Major I Qualifiers. In the second series of the day, we had Cloud9 versus Atlanta FaZe. Cloud9's been off to a really slow start this season, but this month they've been showing some improvements. Their hardpoint record is 4-2. Atlanta FaZe's is 9-2. And early in this game 1, FaZe showed why they're so dominant in hardpoint, getting off to a 100-point lead. And even going into the listen-in, the score was 174-31. Cloud9 made a minor comeback, but whenever you get a slow start like that, it's really hard to bounce back. Mac really needed some help this game. The AHAR duo of Sib and Attach were getting slammed in this first map. In fact, if you look at this final scoreboard, you can see they were really struggling to get anything going. Sib going 14-25 and Attach going 15 and 29. Simp and Celium led the charge for Atlanta FaZe, and they were able to take this first map off of Cloud9. Going into this S&D, things were looking grim for Cloud9 as they are 1 and 5 in S&D this month. For FaZe, they're on a 4-win streak in S&D, going 6 and 1.
Bit of help on the support. Atlanta FaZe stacking up here for the retake.
It's a classic. The 3-man stack. They all slide out together. It's very difficult to pick up these kills, and Attach is doing the best he can to lay down some hate there in the tin. And the clock's ticking. FaZe are going to get rolling. Celium tags up Attach on the approach. Sim's going to be able to get it, and there's Sib with the pair.
FaZe looked like they might take this game, but the 5-3 curse is real, and Cloud9 started making a comeback. Mac having a really solid game, and a BZ cooking for FaZe. But Cloud9 was pretty impressive. They were able to keep their composure and push it to around 11. Cloud9 got offense on this and pushed A early. Kremp was on B all by himself and was able to hit a full flank and catch FaZe off guard.
This could be absolutely tremendous. Mac, he's done it. He's bought the time, and Kremp's in position. He's in position, and FaZe have been cut to pieces.
Cloud9 winning this final round, and this was as close as it could get for a search and destroy. Even on the scoreboard, it was pretty even across the scoreboard, and the game 5 S&D was just as good. But going into the Hacienda control, the teams were pretty even on paper. However, FaZe dominated early on. Celium and Draza were frying this map, getting 20 non-traded kills each. FaZe taking the 3-1 dub on Hacienda control. And in game 4, this was a do or die series for Cloud9. And honestly, I thought the game was over after Celium did it.
In the madness, C9 delivered, and in the madness, Celium might just step up to the plate. That is an AR player getting mixy, and that is Celium versus the world. Takes all.
Dude does not miss. He was leading the charge with kills and with hill time, but Kremp and Mac were keeping Cloud9's head above water throughout this game. But going into these last few hills, it looked like FaZe might end up taking the dub, but Cloud9 made an incredible comeback. Sib going big on these last few hills.
Attack from C9. They cannot give up this side of the map.
Gonna win this game.
They are absolutely on the march. Sib on the cutoffs once again.
And somehow, someway, Cloud9 was able to win this game.
FaZe have got to get one break or a couple of kills. Can they get in? They can't. The back is safe. The front is safe. And the contest, no! My God, I do not believe what C9
Kremp going 39 and 34. Mac with 36 and 2 minutes on hill. Celium dropped a 40 bomb. Cloud9 somehow clutched his game out though and brought it to a map 5 on Vault Search and Destroy. FaZe took the early lead, and then Celium got this insane 1v3.
Oh my God! You actually run this, MC. I'm not even trolling. Never seen you lose these.
What's that?
Oh my God! He's so nervous.
Cloud9 was able to get 2 rounds after this, and Attach had probably one of the craziest 3 pieces I've ever seen.
I don't even know how that stun didn't connect on Mac. There's so many weird things happening, and just pain.
Bang. Here it comes, over the top. Oh my God.
On top of that, he got the ace to tie the game at 4-4. FaZe was probably feeling some type of way off of that nade, and they locked in to win the next 2 rounds, finally getting the defense in the final round and shutting down Cloud9. Regardless, this was a great series, and Cloud9 showed major improvements, but I will not be forgetting that Attached 3-piece for a really long time. Celium was the match MVP for this one, dropping a 1.43, and in the last 4 series, his numbers have been unreal. 1.52, 1.4, 1.5, 1.43. I mean, this dude's in MVP form right now, and if he keeps on playing like this, FaZe might be unstoppable. Vault S&D is diabolical. Imagine that map being the final S&D for champs. No one covering Mac in the final round as he puts the bomb down was drop worthy in my opinion. Draza saying GG's Cloud9. It got way too hectic in map 4. MC is Diffie. Bland up next. And in the final series of Major I qualifiers, we had an absolute banger. OpTic versus Toronto Ultra, and Ultra is undefeated going into this game, and this series was a battle for the first seed at Major I, so there was a lot at stake. Going into the Vault hardpoint, OpTic is on a 4-win streak, being 7-2 this month, and Toronto Ultra is 4-2, but Hook has been popping off for OpTic, and he has a 1.45 in this game mode. The fact that he was in challengers at the beginning of the season is mind-blowing, and he took over this series. OpTic took the early lead, and Toronto came out really slow, but they started settling into the game at about the midway point, but it was a little too late. 8. OpTic kept the lead the entire game. Shotzzy having a really good map 1 with 35 kills and 2 minutes on the hill. You know, it's impressive to get a lot of kills in a hard point, but it's even more impressive when you have a lot of hill time. Joe and CleanX were trying to keep the pace up for Toronto, but they were just flat this game, losing 184 to 250. And going into the red card search and destroy, duo of Beans and Joe Deceives have been among the best in S&D this month, having a 1.5. Toronto took the first round.
Or will he? Clean shots over to 1. Insight just trying to play the long range angle. I believe he's seen Hook in some regard, and that's the clock going to expire on this play. Hook will find all 3 eliminations, but Ultra will catch the round.
Then OpTic took the next 4. But coming into this final map, Hook and Shotzzy just took over.
They can find a crossing angle. OpTic trying to field things out over towards B. Bean's able to get 1 on the backside of the play, but that's all he will get.
Colt does not have an AR in the back pocket, so these long-range gunfights aren't easy, and that is going to be...
And OpTic was able to close out the game, taking an early 2-0 series lead. Hook was locked in and dropped double digits on this one. And now Toronto had their backs against the wall going into the vault control. OpTic was able to take the first round off of them. Beans was frying in this first round, but OpTic was able to win the first one. CleanX and Joe Deceives were really pushing the pace on this map and led the charge for Toronto in these next 3 rounds. And they would go on to win the vault control 3-1. Shotzzy struggling this game, going 16 and 24. But it's hard to do anything when Joe and CleanX have 19 non-traded kills each. We know how overpowered the subs are in this game, but Shotzzy had a chance to redeem himself in the hard point. I mean, in the first hard point, he had a 1.75. OpTic has been really solid in hardpoint, and they kept the lead throughout this entire game. Kenny actually stepped up in this one, finishing the game 34 and 31, and Toronto just couldn't keep up with them. We even got a chance to hear OpTic's comms.
Yo, Victor, late. I got I'm dead. He's on mid-set. Make a computer in zip. Make a computer in zip. Last hit. Nice, good one. Yo, Alright, there's 2-0. Alright, they can be in there. 2-0. They can be there. Give me there.
The game was fairly close throughout, but eventually OpTic just took over, and OpTic beat the undefeated Toronto Ultra team, who now fall to 6-1 in Major I qualifiers. And OpTic officially secures the #1 seed going into Madrid. And I'm excited to see both of these teams play on LAN. Beans had a rough series, but I'm sure he's going to bounce back going into Madrid. And we have officially concluded the Major I qualifiers. Beans saying GG's OpTic, slow start, it's all good. Finish the stage 6-1, Madrid next. It's actually really cool to see, because based on what all these players have been saying, it seems like they're all really excited to go to Madrid. It's a really cool opportunity for them, and it seems really fun to compete overseas. So I'm really hyped for the pro players. It'll be some great experience for them. But at the end of the weekend, the KD leaders look pretty familiar from the other day. Shotzzy is still at #1 with a 1.2, but Celium has climbed his way to #3, and he's been looking like one of the best players in this game. Win also hanging in there at the 5th spot, keeping up with the best of the best. And despite all the resets and like some of the series taking forever, I actually really enjoyed Major I qualifiers. The games were extremely competitive, and like 50% of them went to a game 5. But the moment that we've all been waiting for, the final bracket going into Major I. Now, all of these matches this weekend led up to this very moment. The teams starting in losers bracket are Cloud9, Minnesota Rokkr, Falcons, and LAG Mates. But then in winners bracket, we have some pretty good games. The one I'm most excited for is probably Toronto Ultra versus Vancouver. I feel like that game is going to be insane. But just in case you're curious, here is Thursday's schedule. The teams are probably traveling to Madrid right now, trying to knock off some of that jet lag. It's going to be another great weekend of COD, and the first time we're going to see Black Ops 6 played on LAN. These are the final standings for the Major I qualifiers. OpTic and Toronto finish at the top. Vegas and Cloud9 sitting down there at the bottom. And with that said, who do you think is going to be the grand finals matchup? Now that we've come to the end of stage 1, it's just a waiting game until Thursday. But I hope you guys have a great week. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.